Chapter 12 I Like the Taste of Brother Yu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 12 I Like the Taste of Brother Qianyu. Xiao Wu blushed and came into close contact with Qianyu. She felt that there was a very good smell on Qianyu's body, which made her a little intoxicated. Qianyu smiled, touched the little girl's head and said, "Perhaps we have indeed met in a certain time and space. I prefer to call this fate." "Is it fate?" Xiao Wu looked at Qianyu, half understanding. "Okay, no matter whether we have met before or not, we will live together in this school from now on, so please take care of me in the future." Qianyu stretched out his hand. Xiao Wu felt that what Qianyu said made sense, and nodded quickly, "Yeah. Then, I will call you Brother Qianyu from now on." Qianyu nodded and touched Xiao Wu's head. At this time, Qianyu saw that there were only beds in the dormitory, but no bedding. "Why are there no beddings in this dormitory? How can we sleep at night?" At this time, Xiao Wu asked. At this moment, Wang Sheng and others immediately handed over their quilts and said, "Boss, Sister Xiao Wu, please use our quilts." Qianyu shook his head, and then took out a ring. It was a space ring, the ring where Qianyu stored items in his previous lives. There are many daily necessities inside. I saw Qianyu's thoughts moving. A clean quilt appeared in front of him. Xiao Wu saw the quilt and immediately hugged it. "Wow, Brother Qianyu, why are you so powerful? How did you conjure up this quilt?" At this moment, everyone except Xiao Wu was shocked. They froze in place. Some can't believe it. "Boss! Boss! Was that the Space Soul Guide just now?" Wang Sheng said tremblingly, because they know that Space Soul Guides are very precious, and one costs at least tens of thousands of gold soul coins. However, they are all work-study students and their parents cannot earn a single gold soul coin a year, so they have only heard of Space Soul Guides. Boss Qianyu is also a work-study student like them. However, he has a space ring. They couldn't understand why Qianyu would come to live with their work-study students despite being so rich. At this time, Xiao Wu immediately looked at Qianyu and asked, "What is a Space Soul Guide?" Qianyu smiled and said, "Actually, it's just a storage space. If you like it, I'll give this to you. But, this must be very precious, right?" Xiao Wu asked immediately. Qianyu smiled and said, "It's not expensive. I still have a lot of these space rings." "Oh." Xiao Wu seemed to understand, and quickly thanked, "Thank you, Brother Qianyu." At this point, the work-study students were all dumbfounded. Can't believe it at all. They can never afford this thing in their lifetime, but the boss Qianyu in front of them actually said that he had many more. "Who is he?" "Boss Qianyu, please accept our knees." Suddenly, Wang Sheng and others were seen, and they immediately came to Qianyu and knelt down. Qianyu looked at them, smiled and said, "Okay, I'll treat you to dinner later. You can eat whatever you want. Just be satisfied." At this point, everyone was in high spirits. He quickly thanked him and said, "Thank you, boss." Qianyu smiled. At this time, Xiao Wu hugged the quilt and looked at Qianyu and said, "Brother Qianyu, now we have quilts to sleep." Qianyu looked at Xiao Wu, then pointed at herself and asked, "Us?" Xiao Wu said very familiarly, "That's right, we. I don't have a bedding, so I sleep with Brother Qianyu. Actually, I still have bedding in my storage space." Qianyu looked at Xiao Wu and said. Xiao Wu immediately said, "Then I also want to sleep with Brother Qianyu. Because. Xiao Wu blushed and hesitated. Finally, in his neck, he hummed in a voice that only he could hear, "Because I like the taste of Brother Qianyu." Qianyu looked at this cute little girl, then smiled, touched Xiao Wu's head and said, "Okay, it's up to you. Okay, everyone, pack up. I'll treat you all to dinner." Qianyu was very happy to see the little rabbit from 10 years ago today, so his face was not so cold. Seeing such enthusiastic Qianyu, everyone was still a little uncomfortable. However, everyone was happy when they heard Qianyu's treat, including Qianyu and Xiao Wu. A group of 11 people left Qisha and headed towards the cafeteria under the leadership of Wang Sheng. The canteen is in the teaching building and passes through the entire playground. At this time, the playground was already lively. And many students wearing college uniforms could be seen walking in the direction of the teaching building, apparently to eat. the cafeteria of Nodding Junior Soul Master Academy is large enough to accommodate 6 classes and teachers, totaling more than people, for meals. At this time, a large queue had formed at the canteen's entrance. The cafeteria is divided into 2 floors, and the lobby on the first floor alone has seats. Isn't this Wang Xing's gang of poor ghosts? As soon as he entered the cafeteria, a discordant voice came over. Qianyu looked in the direction of the sound and saw a group of senior students standing on the stairs of the first and second floors, looking down at them. The one who spoke was a handsome-looking male student about 11 or 12 years old, with strong disdain in his eyes. He was shaking his finger at Wang Xing. Poor ghosts are poor ghosts. I'm afraid they will never be able to eat on the second floor. At this time, Xiao Wu was angry. Who are you? What's so great about the second floor? At this moment, the eyes of the male student who spoke suddenly lit up. What a beautiful little Lolita. Girl, come and have dinner with me. I want you to come up to the second floor. With that said, a group of people walked down the stairs to the second floor. You. Xiao Wu was about to rush forward. He was immediately pulled by Qianyu. Xiao Wu looked back at Qianyu, and saw Qianyu looking at Xiao Wu and smiling softly. Leave it to me. Xiao Wu nodded. She believed in Qianyu very much. Qianyu looked at everyone and said, let's go, I'll invite you to eat on the second floor. When they arrived on the second floor, they saw the senior students looking at Qianyu and others, and sneered, you are trying to make yourself fat, come up to the second floor, can you afford it? At this time, Qianyu smiled, then, he touched the space ring on his hand. At this time, the passerby seemed to notice the space ring on Qianyu's hand, and hurriedly muttered, look, it seems to be a space ring. How is that possible? Isn't he a work-study student? How could he have something as valuable as a space ring? Immediately, they discovered that Xiao Wu had an identical one on her hand. Who are these 2 new work-study students? Those people were shocked. At this moment, Qianyu moved his hand slightly, and suddenly, a bag of bright gold soul coins appeared in Qianyu's hand. Qianyu handed the gold soul coin to Wang Xingdao. Take the money and order food. You can order whatever you want. I will pay for today's consumption. As soon as these words came out, everyone present was shocked. End of this chapter. Chapter 13. Apologize or Die. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Some of them couldn't believe it. How could a work-study student be so rich? You know, Qianyu has lived in this world for 10 lifetimes, and all the items Qianyu once obtained are stored in his own system. Therefore, it is not an exaggeration to say that Qianyu is now as rich as his country. Who is this kid? How can you be so rich? How could he still go to a work-study dormitory if he is so rich? The senior students who spoke just now started talking immediately. He's such a generous person. He seems to be someone not easy to mess with. Let's go, said a 6th grade student. With that said, the people who just laughed at Qianyu were about to leave. And many more. At this time, Qianyu's voice suddenly sounded. They turned back and looked at Qianyu. Qianyu looked at those people with calm eyes, pointed at Xiao Wu beside him, and said calmly, come here and apologize to her. Who do you think you are? Why should we apologize? That's right, don't think that just because you have money means you're great. Do you know who we are? Only their voices were heard as soon as they finished speaking. Bang 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 dashed at a loud bang. It attracted the attention of everyone in the cafeteria. The senior students who had just spoken suddenly knelt down in front of Qianyu. Incomparably powerful pressure spread from Qianyu's body and pressed on them. They were all suppressed by Yi Chen's pressure and knelt on the ground. Their hearts suddenly became frightened. What did you do? Someone asked with pressure. Qianyu's eyes became extremely cold. He looked at them and said coldly, either apologize or die. It's your choice. The cold voice, like the whisper of death, lingered in their ears. Qianyu was not joking. If they didn't apologize, Qianyu would really kill them. They saw Qianyu's cold eyes and quickly said, yes, I'm sorry. An older child was so frightened that he cried and said quickly, I'm sorry, please let me go. Woo-woo. There was also a child who was scared to death by Qianyu. Stay where you are. Qianyu glanced at them with cold eyes, then looked back at the work-study students behind him and said, okay, let's go eat. that the work-study students were also in endless shock. They couldn't believe it at all. How could they dare to talk back to these ordinary students? They were all bullied, not to mention coming to the second floor of this cafeteria. They are already happy to have a full meal, but now, with the arrival of boss Qianyu, not only can they come to the second floor to eat, but he is also so majestic that he scares the piss out of the students who show off their power. The boss is mighty. Boss YYDS. Boss, you are so awesome, I will always be your little brother, that the work-study students immediately shouted loudly. At this time, in a corner, a pair of master and apprentice also saw this scene. The pair of master and disciple were none other than Tang San and Grandmaster. Because the dormitory for work-study students was already full, Tang San did not go to the dormitory for work-study students. With the help of the master, Tang San entered the ordinary dormitory. The master also knew that Tang San's family was very poor, so he took Tang San to the cafeteria to eat. Xiao San, aren't you and that Qian Yu both from Holy Soul Village? Who are his parents? Why is he so rich? The master asked, looking at Tang San who was eating. Tang San shook his head and said, he is not from our village. He is a child that was picked up by our village chief at the entrance of the village a few months ago. I don't know why he is so rich. The water overflows when it is full, and the moon waxes and wanes. Mistress, you have to remember that sometimes being too high profile is not a good thing. The master taught. Is teacher. Tang San nodded immediately. Qianyu took Xiao Wu and the others to eat on the second floor. Although Xiao Wu is a girl, she also has a big appetite. It's delicious. Human food is so delicious. Xiao Wu held 2 chicken drumsticks in her hand and gnawed on them. What did you say? Qianyu smiled calmly. Xiao Wu immediately realized that she had let something slip, and quickly said, no. I mean, these chicken legs are delicious. Qianyu smiled, patted Xiao Wu's head lovingly, and said lightly, if it tastes good, eat more. Yeah. Thank you, brother Qianyu. Brother Qianyu, why are you so nice to me? Xiao Wu held 2 chicken legs and tilted her head to look at Qianyu and asked. There is no reason. If you want to be nice to someone, do you need a reason? Qianyu smiled. Everyone finished their meal, then returned to the dormitory. The sky slowly darkened. Brother Qianyu, let's go to sleep. Xiao Wu said immediately. Qianyu nodded and lay on the bed. At this time, there was a warmth and softness, and Qianyu hugged him instantly. Brother Qianyu, can I hold you to sleep? Xiao Wu asked, holding Qianyu's arm. Qianyu touched Xiao Wu's head, smiled and said, of course. Aha! Xiao Wu hugged Qianyu and slowly fell into sleep. Under the moonlight, Qianyu looked at this little girl and smiled tenderly. In her last life, Qianyu just thought the little bunny was cute, so a small move saved her. Unexpectedly, in this life, she would turn into such a bunny girl and come to her side. It's quite interesting to have such a little girl around. Qianyu lay calmly and began to meditate, absorbing the soul power around him. Qianyu's strength continues to improve. But now Qianyu has also encountered a bottleneck. Now Qianyu can no longer go any further. It seemed that it was time to look for a soul ring. Qianyu knew that there was a soul-hunting forest near here, where the empire kept soul beasts in captivity. After 2 days, go there and hunt a soul beast. Now Qianyu, even if he encounters a 10,000-year soul beast, Qianyu is still capable of fighting. However, there are probably no 10,000-year soul beast in the soul-hunting forest. Therefore, if Qianyu can find a better 1,000-year soul ring, he can accept it. Qianyu's theory is different from the master's theory. According to the master's theory, absorbing a soul ring requires the age of the soul ring. However, that only applies to the average person. For Qianyu, no matter what kind of soul ring he is, he can bear it. Therefore, for Qianyu, the higher the age of the soul ring, the more effective it is for Qianyu. Qianyu's final goal is to become a god. The better the foundation is laid in the early stage, the easier it will be to break through and become a god in the later stage. Thinking of this, Qianyu touched Xiao Wu's head and then slowly fell asleep. The next day, Qianyu woke up. At this time, Qianyu found that Xiao Wu was lying on top of him. Xiao Wu poked her head out from under the quilt, lay on Qianyu's body, and rubbed her hazy sleepy eyes. Then, she lay on Qianyu's body and said, Brother Qianyu, why did you sleep with a dagger in your pocket last night? It hurt me. End of this chapter. Chapter 14, The Ancestral Token, Do you think it is fake? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where is the dagger? Qian Yu asked with some confusion. Isn't this what it is? Xiao Wu touched it instantly. Suddenly, Xiao Wu's face turned red. After a short interlude, Qian Yu and Xiao Wu both got up. Qian Yu came to the office, and after asking for leave from the teacher, he rented a carriage and walked towards the soul-hunting forest. Qian Yu did not take Xiao Wu with him. Although Qian Yu had many means to save his life, there would still be a lot of inconvenience if he took Xiao Wu with him. Therefore, Qian Yu left Xiao Wu in the academy. However, with Xiao Wu's strength, she can become the eldest sister in the academy. Although Qian Yu was only 6 years old, many people were willing to rent the carriage to him. After he took out a golden soul coin, he drove the carriage towards the soul-hunting forest. Nodding City is more than 400 miles away from the soul-hunting forest. The 400-mile road is not long, but it is not short either. It was not until noon the next day that he arrived at the destination of the trip, the soul-hunting forest. Arriving at the outskirts of the soul-hunting forest, it looked like a large market, because many people want to enter here to hunt soul beasts, and where there are people, there will be a market. Therefore, many people form teams here, or buy and sell items. Outside the forest, a large number of houses, or shops, were built, various shouts were heard one after another, and simple artificial paths were crisscrossed. The noisy atmosphere made Qian Yu even frown. There is a warrant to form a group to hunt and kill power-type soul beasts. There are still 2 people left. Hunting agile spirit beasts, 7 people and other warrants. 10 gold soul coins. Similar yells came and went, and most of the shops in the forest were selling weapons, armor and various food supplies. Qian Yu walked into the market calmly. He didn't have anything to buy, and he didn't want to form a team, so he just left quietly. However, when Qian Yu walked into the market, several pairs of eyes stared at him from behind. Have you seen that little boy? A big man with bare arms sneered. There were tattoos on his arms. What's wrong? Asked another lean man. That little guy seems to be here alone. The big man sneered. Are you alone? The lean man's eyes suddenly flashed. If a person can come to the soul-hunting forest, then his equipment must be good. It seems that we can do a good job. The big man sneered. Yes, when he enters the soul-hunting forest, we will take action. That the 2 men discussed that they were both members of the Yamaguchi mercenary group. Although they were said to be mercenary groups, they usually did some shameful things. Now, how could they not be moved when they saw a fat sheep like Qian Yu entering the soul-hunting forest alone? After all, when you enter the forest, who knows whether you will die in the hands of others or the hands of a spirit beast? When Qian Yu passed through the market, he did feel a few pairs of eyes staring at him. However, he didn't care at all, because, with his strength, unless the powerful Soul King comes to deal with him, he doesn't care about anyone under the Soul King. However, how could there be a strong Soul King in such a small place? Qian Yu walked towards the forest. The height of the trees shows their age. There is a huge steel fence around the forest, and a large number of spikes are exposed towards the side of the forest. The fence was more than 10 meters high and looked extremely solid. That's not to mention, outside the fence, a group of hundreds of soldiers was cruising there. These soldiers were all wearing refined iron full-body armor, holding long spears, and their military appearance was strict. The 100 steel warriors stood together, giving people a chilling feeling. Qian Yu came to the door. At this time, the soldier guarding the gate looked at Qian Yu and said coldly, "Warrant." Qian Yu asked calmly, "What warrant? You came here, don't you even know the warrant?" Not everyone can enter the captive soul-hunting forest. Only soul masters who have obtained the warrant issued by Wuhuan Palace can enter the soul-hunting forest to hunt soul beasts. The guard said coldly. After hearing this, Qian Yu nodded and said, "In other words, does it only require the token from Wuhuan Palace?" "Yes." "The token of Wuhuan Palace?" Qian Yu looked for his storage space, and then saw a token appear in his hand. This is the ancestral token of Wuhuan Palace. When Qian Yu founded the Wuhuan Palace, he issued an ancestor token, a pope token, and 10 elder tokens. As long as the tokens from the spirit hall can be used, then my own ancestor token should also be able to be used. Qianyu took out the token. On the token, 3 shapes were put together. In the center was a sharp sword with the tip pointing downward. To the left and right of the sword were a hammer and a monster that Qianyu had never seen before. However, unlike other black tokens, the token in Qianyu's hand was made of a very strange spar, and the token was sparkling, and in the middle of the 3 patterns, there is a black begonia. The guard saw the token and looked at the material of the token. It was definitely the best among the best. No matter which token it was better. However, this token was different from all the tokens he had ever seen. The other patterns on this token all match, so why is there an extra black begonia flower? They know that the more patterns, the higher the position, but now, the token in the child's hand seems to have 2 more patterns than the offering order. How can this be? Could it be that what this child is holding is a papal decree? How can it be? How could there be a papal decree in a place like this? There is no need to think about it. This guy's token must be a forgery. Sorry, kid, your token is not real and you cannot enter the soul-hunting forest. The guard's voice sounded. The guard looked at Qianyu and didn't take Qianyu into his eyes at all. Qianyu looked at the guard with calm eyes and asked, "Why is my token not real?" That the guard smiled and said, "Kid, although your token has the symbol of Wuhuan Palace, your symbol has more symbols than the symbol of the enshrined token. Are you trying to say that your token is papal decree?" Finished saying this, suddenly, only one person burst into laughter. "Kid, you haven't been weaned yet, go home and nurse." "Little guy, this soul-hunting forest is not a place for a kid like you." A sound rang out. Qianyu was not angry, he was very calm. Through the guard's words, Qianyu could at least confirm one thing: the symbol on his token is the same as the symbol on the current Wuhuan Palace token. In other words, the current Wuhuan Palace is the same Wuhuan Palace he established originally, but these guards are blind and cannot understand his token. If his token were shown to the elders and the Pope of Wuhuan Palace, they would definitely be extremely shocked. End of this chapter. Chapter 15. The plan will be counted. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 15. Use the plan. Qian Yu was not panicked. Although there were many guards here, the strongest ones were only the great soul masters. It is very simple to enter this forest. If they really don't let him, Qianyu doesn't mind forcing his way in. Even if Qianyu forced his way in, they couldn't stop Qianyu. At this moment, a man suddenly came from behind Qianyu. "Kids, do you want to form a team with us? We have a warrant." 4 or 5 men came, and they were the Yamaguchi mercenary group who had previously planned to deal with Qianyu. The big man at the head smiled and said, "Kid, what kind of martial spirit are you? Do you want to form a team with us?" The lean man next to him also immediately said, "Yes, it is very dangerous in the soul-hunting forest. If you team up with us, we can also protect your safety." At this time, Qianyu smiled faintly. Unexpectedly, someone came to my door. Of course Qianyu could see their intentions. However, in this case, you can make good use of them. Qianyu immediately pretended to be innocent and said, "Brothers, I am an auxiliary martial spirit. Can you really take me with you?" "Of course. As long as little brother is willing to team up with us, we can also help you find a suitable soul ring." The big man said. In his opinion, Qianyu is just a little fat sheep. Wait until they reach the soul-hunting forest and then kill him. In this way, all the property on him will be theirs. At this time, the big man took out a warrant, handed it to the guard, and said with a smile, "Can we go in?" The guard looked at the big man's order, nodded and said, "Go in." Qianyu and the people from the Yamaguchi mercenary group walked into the soul-hunting forest. Qianyu walked in front, and a few people started plotting behind. Did you see it? That kid actually has a space soul guide in his hand. A person said immediately. It seems that our goal is right. This guy is a big fat sheep. I must make a good profit this time. Everyone looked at Qianyu and regarded him as a fat sheep. Qianyu's eyes were calm and he walked in front. With Qianyu's strength, their conversation was naturally heard. However, Qianyu remained calm and pretended to walk calmly, and this time, in the forest, Tang San's master and apprentice also entered the forest. After entering the forest, the master did not rush forward. but silently observed his surroundings. Grandmaster's originally decadent eyes suddenly brightened, his hands clasped in front of his chest, and then quickly parted downwards. Come out, Luo Sanpao. With a puff, a wave of lavender soul power split from the master's palms. Tang San only felt a wave of soul power emanating from the master, and in front of him, there was already an extra creature. That's right, that is a creature. It looks like a dog, but its size is more like a pig. The length is more than 1.5 meters, and the waist circumference is probably about the same. He has lavender hair all over his body, 2 small ears drooping, and a pair of big dark blue eyes blinking. His eyes are very gentle, the fat body twisted, and the fat buttocks swayed from side to side, with 4 stubby calves. It's hard to imagine how slow it moves. There is a bulge on the top of the head, round, I don't know what it is. As soon as it appeared, it ran towards the master and rubbed its big head on the master's leg. 2 halos rose from the master's feet, and they walked back and forth on him. The halos were all yellow, obviously they were century-old soul rings. Little San, don't you want to know what my martial spirit is? This is my martial spirit. You can call it Luo Sanpao, or you can just call him Sanpao. Luo Sanpao seemed to understand the master's words, and looked at Tang San with a pair of big eyes. There was actually a bit of flattery in the eyes. Teacher, this is your spirit? Tang San said in surprise, but, isn't the form of beast spirit possessing a body? Why? Leaving aside what kind of creature this Luo Sanpao is, the master's martial soul obviously exceeds the limit of the beast martial soul. Luo Sanpao was obviously dissatisfied, and yelled at Tang San twice. There was a trace of bitterness on the master's face, because, my martial spirit is a mutated martial spirit. Remember the mutated martial spirit I told you, Sanpao is it, however, its mutation is obviously in a bad direction. No matter how hard I try, my soul power will not be able to break through level, in this life, and I can only study martial souls theoretically. Okay, let's move forward. This time, we will try to find a suitable martial spirit for you. The master said with a smile. Thank you, teacher. Tang San said immediately. Qianyu and the people from the Yamaguchi mercenary group continued to move forward, came to the depths of the forest. At this time, the Yamaguchi mercenary group seemed to no longer want to hide. They all stopped. Seeing them stop, Qianyu immediately asked, why don't you leave? At this time, only a few people came over and surrounded Qianyu, and they also revealed their true colors. Ha 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 ha. The leading man laughed. Boy, the ring you were injured on should be a space soul guide, right? The strong man at the head asked immediately. Qianyu smiled and replied in a childish tone, yeah. So, we took you into the forest, should you give us this space soul guide? The big man sneered. Yes, we have helped you so much, shouldn't you repay us? The lean man added. The corners of Qianyu's lips raised slightly, they finally showed their fox tails. Then, he quickly said, no, this is a very important thing, I can't give it to you. Ha 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 ha. At this time, the big men suddenly laughed. The leading man pointed at Qian Yu and smiled, boy, do you know why we want to help you? Humph, we don't have the time to hunt soul beasts. The reason why we helped you come in is because you have a space soul guide. It seems that you have a lot of money, right? It is precisely because of this that we helped you come to this soul hunting forest. If you attack outside, the people from Wuhuan Palace will definitely take care of it. But in this soul hunting forest, who knows that you will be eaten by a soul beast? Or were we killed? So, boy, if you are wise, hand over all the valuable things you have on you. If we are happy, maybe we can spare your life. At this moment, I saw the strong man directly tearing his face, looking at Qian Yu and sneering. At this moment, they saw the corners of Qian Yu's mouth slowly rise, tilt it slightly, and raise it, with cold eyes shooting out. Qian Yu's cold voice sounded faintly. Then, how do you know that I didn't use you to enter this soul-hunting forest? That everyone was shocked when they saw Qian Yu's sudden change in tone and attitude. End of this chapter. Chapter 16 Killing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at Qian Yu in surprise. Although Qian Yu was a child, their sudden change of attitude really surprised them. Immediately, they looked at Qianyu. He was just a child and could still kill them, so they all laughed. Ha 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 ha, boy, what did you say? You mean, you used us to enter this soul-hunting forest? What do you mean, are you still planning to deal with us here? A child whose breasts are cut off every time is really laughable. Several people were talking to each other, mocking Qianyu. Qianyu Gujing Wubo looked at them and said calmly, yes, originally I wanted to force my way in, but then you came to the door, so I was ready to take advantage of you. I know that the purpose of you coming to me is for my money, but I also use this to use you to bring me in. Now that I have come in, you have no value to use, so, you can all go and die. At this moment, a soul master sneered and said, boy, are you still dreaming? We are all soul masters, and you are just a 6-year-old child. Do you want to kill us? In that case, let me see how much strength you have. A soul master said and punched Qianyu. He didn't even release his martial spirit. It would be too shameful for him to unleash his martial spirit against a kid like Qianyu. Chiba stood there calmly, didn't even look at him. I saw that the man's fist was already approaching. At this time, Qianyu faintly whispered in his heart, wind blade, cut. There is no one here except Qianyu and the members of the Yamaguchi mercenary group, so Qianyu can use his martial soul at will, even in front of the Yamaguchi mercenary group. There is no problem. Qianyu is not afraid of being exposed at all, because dead people cannot speak. The man rushed up to kill him. Suddenly, 4 wind blades were seen, slashing across his body in an instant. The next moment, everyone was stunned. 5 blood stains suddenly appeared on the limbs and neck of the man who rushed up. Qianyu looked forward and never glanced at the man who was coming to kill him. Chirp chirp dash. The man's limbs and neck were instantly covered with blood. His limbs and head were instantly separated from his body and fell to the ground in midair, dying an unexpected death. At this moment, the remaining mercenary groups were stunned. They looked at Qianyu in shock and couldn't believe it at all. How is it possible? What have you done? Why did he die like this? Their words changed from shock to horror, because no one could believe that a 6-year-old boy could kill an adult so easily, and it was such a cruel instant kill. Qianyu still looked forward and said with a calm smile, next, it's your turn. At this moment, their attitudes changed 180 degrees, the previous mockery turned into horror. How can that be? What the hell did you do? A mercenary pointed at Qianyu and backed away while pointing. Cut. Following Qianyu's order, he saw countless wind blades slashing towards him. He retreated crazily, but how could his speed be faster than the wind? In an instant, countless wind blades caught up with him and passed through his body. His blood gushed out, and his body was cut into pieces by the wind blade, lying on the ground. In the end, only the strong man at the head and the lean man were left. There was also fear in their eyes. The fear was mixed with confusion and shock, because they simply couldn't believe that a 6-year-old child could burst out with such powerful energy. At this moment, they understood everything Qianyu said was true. Moreover, he is very strong. The strong man looked at Qianyu, his eyes suddenly filled with bloodshot eyes, and roared, boy, I'll kill you. Martial soul possessed. In an instant, an extremely huge lion was seen attached to the strong man's body. The martial spirit of that strong man was that of a mad lion. On his body, 2 soul rings emerged from the soles of his feet, one white and one yellow, gradually rising from the soles of his feet. The first soul skill, Lion Rush, he shouted loudly. Suddenly, he seemed to have turned into a wild lion and pounced down from the sky towards Qianyu. Qianyu chuckled and said, Ning, I saw countless ice crystals appearing on the huge mad lion man. Then, the entire body instantly condensed into a piece of ice and fell from the sky to the ground. Break. Qianyu spoke again. Click dash, the ice cracked instantly, and dense lines appeared on the ice. Bang. A bang, I saw ice chips flying out, and the body of the crazy lion spirit man also exploded into countless ice shards along with the ice, scattering in all directions. After taking care of the 3 of them, Qianyu didn't even blink. At this moment, the last remaining lean man finally understood. The little boy in front of him is very strong, very, very strong, ridiculously powerful. He has transcended the human realm. He is not a human, he is a monster, a devil. For a moment, he only felt a little warm in his pants. When he looked down, he was so frightened that he was incontinent. Faced with such a devil, there is no way he could be an opponent. This little boy killed 3 people without blinking an eye. How could he escape from such a person? He immediately knelt on the ground, kowed out fiercely on the ground and begged for mercy. Master, Master, we have no eyes to see, we should not take your ideas. As long as you let me go, I can give you all the money we robbed. I can be your subordinate and work as a cow or horse for you. As long as you let me go, please, please let me go. He was kowtowing on the ground crazily. He couldn't care less that his head was bleeding. He kowtows crazily, just so that Qianyu can spare his life. Qianyu was very calm. He looked at the lean man who was the last to die and said, "You will not survive if you do it yourself." After saying that, Qianyu turned and left. The lean man was overjoyed because he discovered that Qianyu didn't take action against him. However, when Qianyu took the first step, he couldn't laugh anymore. I saw countless wind blades approaching. Those wind blades were like countless tangled threads, pinched instantly. Suddenly, blood surged from his body, and his body turned into countless pieces of flesh in an instant and fell to the ground, but Qianyu walked forward without looking back. End of this chapter. Chapter 17 Picnic in the Soul Hunting Forest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After easily dealing with the 4 people, Qianyu began to search for a soul beast suitable for him in the soul hunting forest. It's just that almost all the soul beasts in this soul hunting forest are kept in captivity, so there aren't many powerful ones. However, it shouldn't be difficult to find a 1,000-year soul beast. Qianyu has very high requirements for himself. After all, he has become a god in the 9th life. If he wants to become a god in this life, the first soul reign must be at least 1,000 years, and, the closer to 10,000 years, the better. Therefore, Qianyu began to search in the soul hunting forest. At this moment, Qianyu felt that many soul beasts were targeting him. He looked back and saw ghost wolves appearing next to Qianyu. They can't feel Qianyu's aura, even if they are spirit beasts. Seeing that Qianyu is a child, they want to eat Qianyu and have a good meal. Suddenly, more than a dozen netherworld wolves were seen rushing forward. Qianyu's eyes were cold, and immediately, the aura on his body was released. Chirp chirp dashed at a loud bang. I saw pieces of soil suddenly surged up from the ground and condensed into sharp cones, penetrating all those ghost wolves. This is Qianyu's martial spirit, rare earth. Rare earth is the earth element martial spirit. Qianyu can use rare earth to condense into various shapes. It can be condensed into a shield to block attacks, or it can be condensed into a sword to kill enemies. It is somewhat similar to Qianyu's ice martial spirit. The only difference is that the ice martial soul will be more powerful in places with water, while the rare earth martial soul will be more beneficial in places with soil. More than a dozen netherworld wolves were instantly killed by Qianyu. At this time, the sky also darkened. Qianyu found a wide place and planned to spend the night here tonight. He set up a fire and took out the tent from the space ring. Then he caught a ghost wolf, cleaned it, and roasted it on the fire. Although Qianyu is already very strong now, he must eat to replenish his strength. Although barbecue at night will definitely attract a lot of soul beasts, Qianyu is not afraid. It can also be said that Qianyu just wants to attract those soul beasts and choose a better soul beast for himself. As for danger, with his current strength, even 10,000-year-old soul beasts are capable of fighting. In this soul hunting forest, I am afraid that there is no soul beast that will be his opponent. After a while, I saw the little wolf's body suddenly glowing with oil. The rich fragrance immediately spread from the little wolf's body. Qianyu also smelled the fragrance, and immediately took out salt, chili powder, Sichuan pepper powder from the storage space, and finally sprinkled some cumin powder. In an instant, the little wolf became even more fragrant. At this time, the surrounding soul beasts also smelled the fragrance and gathered towards Qianyu. Qianyu ignored the soul beasts gathered around him, but took out a bottle of wine that had been treasured for tens of millions of years from the storage space and began to drink it. How could such delicious food be possible without good wine to accompany it? The spirit beasts around him stared at Qianyu with eager eyes. Qianyu, on the other hand, chose to ignore them and started eating. Suddenly, there was only a loud noise. A century-old tiger pounced towards Qianyu. However, Qianyu didn't even look at it. The bones left in his hand were instantly ejected. Qi dashed at a loud bang. The tiger that was rushing towards Qianyu was instantly penetrated by the bone and died on the ground. Seeing this scene, the spirit beasts gathered around them began to feel a little timid. Even though they were not very intelligent, they did not dare to act rashly after seeing Qianyu defeating a century-old spirit beast so easily. Qianyu ate barbecue, drank some wine, and hummed a tune, very comfortable. Suddenly, from behind Qianyu, a 400-year-old netherworld wolf came over instantly. The netherworld wolf had red eyes and seemed to be here for revenge. 100-year-old soul beast, alas, the age limit is too low, don't want it, Qianyu said. He didn't make any move, only saw a wind blade fly out, instantly killing the netherworld wolf. At this moment, those soul beasts seemed to know that Qianyu was not someone to be trifled with, and they retreated one after another. However, there are still some soul beasts who do not know whether to live or die, hiding in the darkness, looking for opportunities. Luo luo, luo luo, luo luo. A burst of rapid shouting suddenly sounded, the surroundings suddenly became silent, and a rustling sound clearly reached Qianyu's ears. There seemed to be a faint fishy smell in the air. The fishy smell was not strong, and even had a faint sweetness and tea fragrance. Qianyu took a closer look and saw a snake appearing in Qianyu's field of vision. Datura snake, 400-year soul beast. Qianyu looked at the little snake calmly and sneered, "Little guy, are you coming to eat me?" Qianyu smiled calmly. At this time, the mandala snake suddenly accelerated and bit Qianyu. It was about to pounce on Qianyu, and the snake's mouth was wide open and about to close. At this moment, Qianyu's eyes turned cold, the surroundings became cold. In the air, countless water vapor condensed into ice cones. The ice cones were suspended in the air and assassinated in an instant. Chirp chirp dashed at a loud bang. Ice picks pierced the body of the datura snake. Hiss, the mandala snake screamed instantly, then immediately fled into the grass and left. Qianyu did not catch up, because Qianyu had already hit the 7 inches of the mandala snake, and it could not live long. After repelling the mandala snake, Qianyu released the Haitang martial spirit. Suddenly, Haitang's martial spirit formed a circle of poisonous mist around Qianyu, protecting Qianyu. The poisonous mist is very toxic, and no matter who it is, if they get a little bit of it, they will definitely die. Then, he walked into the tent and began to sleep without worrying about any danger. In the forest, I saw Tang San's master and disciple in a very embarrassed state. The master's body was in tatters, as if a very serious battle had taken place. Tang San was slightly better, but he had also exhausted his strength and needed to rest. Damn it, I didn't expect that century-old soul beast to be so powerful. The master complained. It's okay, teacher, let's rest first and then look for a better spirit beast tomorrow. Tang San said quickly. At this time, the master began to blame himself. Sorry, mistress, I am too weak and it is difficult to find a good soul ring for you. Let's see if there is a suitable 10-year soul ring tomorrow and help you find one. Tang San looked at the master. Although he didn't say it out loud, he finally understood what Qianyu said before. Although finding such a teacher can theoretically help you, it will have no effect at all when hunting soul beasts. However, once a teacher, always a father. Even so, Tang San still wanted to support the master. Tang San nodded and said, "Okay, I believe the teacher." Hiss. Suddenly, a voice sounded, and a huge snake head poked out. When the master saw the huge snake head, he was shocked and said, "Xiao San, no, that's a mandala snake. We are no match for it. Run," the master said, turning around and running away in an instant. At this time, Tang San suddenly discovered that the snake came in front of Tang San, already dying. "Teacher, this snake seems to have been extremely seriously injured and seems to be dying," Tang San said immediately. After hearing this, the master stopped escaping and laughed quickly. "Great, Xiao San, you are so lucky. Kill this mandala snake quickly. Its soul ring is very suitable for you." End of this chapter. Chapter 18. The Master and Apprentice Who Picked Up the Leak. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The master was very excited. He looked at Tang San and said, "Xiao San, that's great. There is no perfect way. This mandala snake looks to be 400 years old. With the two of us, it is absolutely unkillable." Unexpectedly, someone actually injured it. "Now, you can have an ultimate 100-year soul ring." Ha 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 ha. I didn't expect that we would pick up such a big leak. If you know who injured this datura snake, you must thank him." That the master laughed, obviously very happy. With his own strength, it was impossible to kill such a century-old spirit beast, so Tang San was really lucky to be able to pick up such an injured spirit beast. Tang San nodded, also very happy. He walked over slowly, pulled out the dagger, and stabbed him. The body of the mandala snake has gradually become immobile, and the vital points of its head have been pierced by a sharp blade. No matter how tenacious its vitality is, it will not escape the end of death. Faint yellow light spots began to gather above the body of the mandala snake. Suddenly, a yellow spirit ring appeared in front of Tang San. Seeing this scene, the master's eyes were filled with relief. "Xiao San, let's get started." Tang San nodded, raised his right hand, resisting the feeling of weakness, and slowly condensed his remaining soul power into the palm of his hand. Accompanied by a light blue halo, blue-silver grass grew from his palm, exuding a faint breath of life and swaying gently with the fluctuation of soul power. Soon, the yellow halo came over Tang San's head. Without giving him any chance to react, the yellow halo suddenly shrank, turning into a bracelet-sized but extremely solid gold ring that fell directly on the palm of his right hand. Above the blue-silver grass martial soul, the master stood aside excitedly and looked at Tang San. As Tang San continued to absorb the spirit rings, the master's face gradually began to smile. At this time, the master thought of Qianyu. He remembered the humiliation Qianyu had brought to himself by refuting his theory. Suddenly, he clenched his fists and said coldly, "Qianyu, Xiao San was not your opponent before, but this time, Xiao San has absorbed 400 years of extreme martial arts, and he will definitely be able to surpass you. I will also prove to you that only my Wuhuan theory is the most correct, and only I am the #1 theory master in the mainland." Finally, Tang San finished absorbing it. The master looked at Tang San excitedly. The first soul ring absorbed a limit of soul ring life, which was a good start. The current master believes that even that Qian Yu is no match for Tang San after absorbing the spirit ring. The master looked at Tang San and asked quickly, "Xiao San, have you succeeded?" Tang San smiled and said, "Teacher, don't worry. I succeeded. You see." As he spoke, Tang San raised his right hand, and dark blue-silver grass swarmed out from his palm. A clear yellow halo rose from his feet and circled up and down around his body. At this time, the blue-silver grass was several times thicker than before, with strange lines. Dozens of blue-silver grass spread quickly around, and the tips of the grass blades were lifted up, like more than 10 mandalas. Snakes are looking for food everywhere. Okay, this is great. It seems that my judgment is absolutely correct. The blue-silver grass has become tougher after being infused with the mandala snake soul ring. If my guess is correct, it should also have some datura snake venom, but, what are its current skills? Yu Xiaojiang asked immediately. Tang San said quickly, "The first soul skill, entanglement, can entangle the enemy, making it impossible for people to break free." After hearing this, Yu Xiaojiang became even more happy and said quickly, "Great, now, even Qian Yu is no longer your opponent." Tang San was also very excited. He has always regarded Qian Yu as his opponent. Although he knows that Qian Yu is very strong, he has never really competed with Qian Yu. Now that he has a century-old soul ring, he also has the skill to entangle him. As long as his blue-silver grass entangles him, coupled with his Tang sect hidden weapon, even Qian Yu will not be his opponent. "Qian Yu, I said I would surpass you," Tang San said secretly in his heart. On the other side, Qian Yu sneezed and woke up. "Why did you sneeze suddenly? Is someone thinking about me?" Qian Yu rubbed his nose, stretched, and then sat up. After tidying up, he walked out of the tent. At this time, he discovered that all around him were the corpses of soul beasts. More than a dozen spirit beasts wanted to attack him in the middle of the night, but unfortunately they were all killed by the poisonous mist of his netherworld begonia martial spirit. There were also several fresh soul rings condensed in the air, which seemed to be soul beasts that had just died. Qian Yu saw a purple soul ring condensed, but Qian Yu did not absorb it. It was a 1,000-year-old tiger. Although it was a 1,000-year soul beast, it had only just turned 1,000 years old. For Qian Yu, the age was still too low. Therefore, he continued walking deeper into the forest, looking for more powerful soul beasts. Although Qian Yu has 10 martial souls, he only needs to add the soul ring of his new samsara disc martial soul. Other martial souls, Yi Chen, had already attached soul rings in previous lives. In other words, what Qianyu is doing now is not reattaching them, but activating them. Qianyu can use the soul skills of 10 martial spirits by attaching a soul ring of 1 martial soul. Therefore, what Qianyu is thinking about now is what kind of martial spirit should be attached to the pan of samsara. The disc of samsara is too mysterious, and Qianyu doesn't know what its specific function is. However, this martial spirit does not have a powerful attack power like his own god-killing sword or war god spear. Therefore, looking for some ferocious soul beasts is not the best choice. Therefore, Qianyu plans to add some spiritual soul beasts to it, which should be more effective. At this time, Qianyu had already reached the center of the soul-hunting forest. Qianyu found that when he came here, there were no soul beasts around. The soul beasts Qianyu had discovered before seemed to have intentionally avoided this place, as if they were afraid of something. Because of this, Qianyu guessed that there should be a relatively powerful soul beast in the center of the soul-hunting forest. Ouch! Suddenly, a soul beast's cry sounded. That strong sound wave surged towards Qianyu in an instant, directly hitting Qianyu's soul. Qianyu was suddenly startled, and powerful soul power emitted, resisting the sound wave. At this moment, he was very surprised, because this cry is definitely from a very powerful soul beast, and the cry also carries a spiritual attack, which means that there is a very strong spiritual soul beast here. Qianyu smiled, looked towards the direction of the sound wave, and said calmly, "Little guy, come out obediently, and be my soul ring." End of this chapter. Chapter 19 10,000 Years, Yin-Yang Phantom Beast. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. At this time, Qianyu suddenly felt an unusual aura. It came from the southwest, like a spirit beast roaring, but its roar made Qianyu feel a little uneasy. This is Psychic Soul Beast. Qianyu followed the sound and chased after him. At this time, he finally saw clearly where the roar came from. It was a huge soul beast. The soul beast's body was covered with scales, like a huge lizard. The soul beast, on the other hand, appears in 2 colors, black and white. One side is black and the other side is white. Qianyu was a little surprised, because this kind of spirit beast is the legendary Yin-Yang Phantom Spirit Beast. The Yin-Yang Phantom Spirit Beast is a species of phantom beast among soul beasts. It can release the power of Yin and Yang to attack others. Moreover, its cry also contains the power of hallucination. When ordinary people encounter this kind of soul beast, they will definitely fall into an illusion and be unable to extricate themselves. Then it is attacked by its Yin and Yang power, and finally eaten by it. This kind of soul beast is very rare among soul beasts, but it is at the top of the food chain. 1,000-year-old Yin-Yang Phantom Beast, even a 10,000-year soul beast cannot do anything to it. Qianyu remembered that in one life, he went looking for a soul beast and met a Yin-Yang Phantom Beast. The Yin-Yang Phantom Beast created an illusion and made him suffer a lot before he came out. He didn't expect that he would encounter the Yin-Yang Phantom Beast again here. All the soul beasts in the forest were scared away by him. There were almost no soul beasts around, only Qianyu's small body was staring at it. The Yin-Yang Phantom Beast is huge, perhaps more than 10 meters tall. Qianyu is only a 6-year-old child, which is in sharp contrast to the huge body of the Yin-Yang Phantom Beast. The Yin-Yang Phantom Spirit Beast that Qianyu was looking at looked like a 10,000-year-old spirit beast. Suddenly, Qianyu became excited. One Yin spirit is a soul beast, just what he wants. Originally Qianyu only wanted to find a 1,000-year soul beast, but she didn't expect to encounter such a surprise here. This Yin-Yang Phantom Beast should be the king of beasts here. Roar! The roar of the Yin-Yang Phantom Beast suddenly sounded. In an instant, all the beasts in the entire forest surrendered. All the soul beasts were lying on the ground, not daring to make the slightest move. When Qianyu saw this scene, he knew very clearly that this Yin-Yang Phantom Spirit Beast was the spiritual spirit beast that had been around for thousands of years. Qianyu's small body walked under the Yin-Yang Phantom Beast, looked at the Yin-Yang Phantom Beast and said with a smile, "Little guy, I am very satisfied with you, come and be my soul ring." Although the 10,000-year soul beast is powerful, it obviously cannot transform and has no intelligence. Its fierce eyes looked at Qianyu again and roared again. Powerful spiritual energy waves emerged towards Qianyu, trying to bring Qianyu into the illusion. "Sorry, I have been reincarnated 10 times. Your spiritual power is of no use to me. Qianyu raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth and rushed towards the Yin-Yang phantom beast. Compared to spiritual power, who can compare with Qianyu? Qianyu has been reincarnated for 10 lives. In each life, his soul power is very powerful. Even if he changes his body, his soul remains unchanged, because Qianyu's soul and mental power are probably not comparable to anyone or any soul beast in the entire Douluo continent. What's more, it's just a small 10,000-year soul beast. Be my soul ring obediently, Qianyu said and immediately killed him. At this moment, Qianyu also became serious. After all, this is not a 1,000-year soul beast that can be wiped out at will, a 10,000-year-old soul beast. This Yin-Yang phantom beast is also a dominant level existence in the forest. Even Qianyu needs some effort. Wind blade, Qianyu directly released the wind blade, and in an instant, countless wind blades were seen coming from all directions, cutting into the body of this 10,000-year soul beast. Chirp chirp dash, there was a sound. Violent sparks also appeared on the body of the 10,000-year soul beast. Sure enough, as Qianyu said this, he saw powerful soul power beginning to condense on his hands. Ice, suppress, in an instant, he put his hands on the ground. Suddenly, one after another saw the power of ice attacking towards the phantom beast. Endless ice condensed on the ground. In an instant, ice froze the limbs of the phantom beast, restricting its movement. Roar, the phantom beast roared. Suddenly, from his body, Yin and Yang Qi formed a disc and headed towards Qianyu. Earth shield, Qianyu did not dodge, but just cast the spell calmly. Rumbling, suddenly, a huge earth wall surged up from the ground, blocking Qianyu's face. The Yin and Yang energy was blocked by the earth shield made by Qianyu. Qianyu understood that his ice blade and wind blade could not cause substantial damage to this soul beast. If you want to injure this soul beast, you can only use your own weapons and souls. Qianyu put away his other martial arts, a smile appeared on his lips, and said lightly, I haven't used this martial spirit for a long time. As he said that, Qianyu stretched out his right hand. Suddenly, a ray of light appeared. A black spear appeared in Qianyu's hand. Weapon spirit, war god gun. The god of war spear is a divine weapon and spirit, comparable to Poseidon's trident and god Shura's demonic sword of Shura. Even the clear sky hammer and the 7 kills sword that are popular among Douluo are no match for the god of war spear. Qianyu held on to the god of war spear, flew up, and reached the sky above the phantom beast. Qianyu's small body suddenly came to the top of the Yin-Yang phantom beast's head. He immediately focused his power on the god of war spear and stabbed it into the top of the Yin-Yang phantom beast's head. Try this trick, Qianyu said as he shot down. Boom. After Qianyu's attack, the body of the Yin-Yang phantom beast directly dug a huge pit into the ground. Qianyu's spear pierced the Yin-Yang phantom beast's body, blood flowed. Roar, at this time, the Yin-Yang phantom beast roared even more excitedly. Due to Qianyu's martial spirit, the demonic sound of the Yin-Yang phantom beast had little impact on Qianyu. Qianyu flew away, then found the opening of the Yin-Yang phantom beast, and suddenly opened up his firepower and stabbed out with another shot. Bang! The Yin-Yang phantom beast flew out directly and knocked down a large number of trees. The soul beasts next to them had long been scared to death. They all hid, unable to believe that this small human body could actually fight against their forest king. Qianyu moved quickly and instantly opened the distance between him and the Yin-Yang phantom beast. Immediately, endless soul power burst out from the spear. He took advantage of the gap between the Yin-Yang phantom beast's attacks and rushed towards the Yin-Yang phantom beast. One shot out. The gun explodes instantly like a startling dragon. Boom! Huge soul power erupted, and the billowing power poured out endlessly. The overflowing soul power burst out like a flood, hitting the Yin-Yang phantom beast hard. A bloody hole suddenly opened up in the Yin-Yang phantom beast's belly. The Yin-Yang phantom beast finally fell to the ground and ended its life. End of this chapter.